Is this symbiosis? What about this one?
Yeah, I think that's symbiosis.
That's definitely possibly symbiosis right there. Would you be surprised if I told you that all of these are symbiosis? Well, maybe aside from this one. I'm gonna tell you why, but first, what's the lore behind this word symbiosis? Well, the word symbiosis derives from the root word sym and bios, meaning together and living respectively. The first use of symbiosis in biology goes back 130 years. In 1877, Albert Bernard Frank used the term symbiosis to describe a mutualistic relationship in lichens. Lichens are some of the weirdest organisms because they're actually two distinct organisms, one of algae or cyanobacteria and the other of fungus. German mycologist Henrik Anton de Bary referred to symbiosis of lichens as the living together of unlike organisms. Algae won't normally survive in dry environments, but if you have a symbiotic fungal partner, water can wait. Additionally, algae provides food to the fungus so it can grow and spread. The two species have a mutually beneficial relationship, so in biology, we call this mutualism. Whales with barnacles. Barnacles don't serve any obvious advantage to whales, but barnacles do benefit from hitchhiking through nutrient-rich waters. In comparison to lichens, the symbiotic relationship between the whale and the barnacle seems a lot more one-sided, kind of like my last relationship. The relationship between the whale and the barnacle is called commensalism, where only the barnacle is benefiting, but the whale isn't benefiting, but it's also not really taking a loss. In this instance, there is a clear winner and a clear loser. So wait a second, predation is a form of symbiosis? Actually, yes. Now you're starting to see the bigger picture. Think of symbiosis as a catch-all term for all creature relationships over a decent length of time. These relationships are grouped into one of 6 possible categories. Some biologists point at the chart and say only mutualisms represent symbiosis, but the vast majority refer to symbiosis as an umbrella term that describes one of the 6 possible relationships. A lot of symbiotic relationships have been going on for so long they started to evolve with each other. Like for instance this plant that can only be pollinated by native bat species. There's even symbiotic coevolution in humans, like for instance the 100 trillion good bacteria that live inside our gut to help break down food. But sometimes 2 species can evolve against each other, like this snake that began eating toxic salamanders and evolved a poison immunity. At the same time, the salamander evolves more and more potent poisons, making for one of the most poisonous salamanders and one of the most poison-resistant snakes. Symbiotic relationships can be obligate, meaning that one or both species entirely depend on each other for survival. This is like the many bacteria species that live in our gut. In lichens, however, the symbiotic relationship is described as facultative, because the algae or cyanobacteria species can generally live independently, but the fungus literally needs the algae to survive. So would you say this lady has an obligate mutualistic symbiosis with Starbucks? The answer is no. Your Starbucks drink isn't an organism, and if it was, that'd be terrifying, but still, you can live without it.
Know how I feel.